Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Oh man, well, hey, I just gotta thank you again, CEO of Music, Seth Binzer from Crazy Town. Thanks for putting all album releases on hold while I was on break. I really, really appreciate that. You didn't get that email? Hi, welcome back to the Quick Review Basheroo. It's been a while since I've done one of these. The last one I did was all the way back in August. There's been a fair amount of album releases since then, of course, so I'm gonna try to get through as many of them as I can, or at least the ones that I have something to say about. I've broken this video up into months, so if there's one particular record you want to hear my opinion on, you can skip to that month and find it there. Let me know your thoughts on these records in the comments, and also let me know what you think of this format of the QRB, where I look at multiple months at once instead of just 1 month at a time.
When the big pizza pie hits the moon like your eye, that's amore.
In case you weren't convinced that 2020's been a really weird year, here is the ultimate sign. The Flaming Lips put out a really good album with virtually no gimmicks or nonsense behind it. Except for the bubbles, but I'll take it at this point, honestly. Well, this was a nice surprise. If you're in the market for something like the last Harry Styles record, but with more of a hard rock inspired production, I highly recommend this. I enjoyed this a lot. This new Fleet Foxes reminds me a lot of last year's Bon Iver in that they both feel like the best, most accessible synthesis of the artist's work up to this point, but I will always gravitate towards the redheaded stepchild they released right before. I love it when I get exactly what I expect out of an album. In the case of this new Sylvan Esso, I expected some well-crafted indie pop, and that's what I got. What a great thing, to get exactly what you expect and nothing more. I'm gonna go eat some pasta with light pesto sauce and watch Designated Survivor on CBS. I'm gonna pin my ambivalence towards this one on my not being too familiar with Deftones, because it's been getting rave reviews everywhere, but I just couldn't click with it. Man, if only I had a series where I went through and gained a newfound appreciation of an artist's discography. Call it like Large LP Leap or something like that. There is a phenomenal EP in here somewhere. You cut the track list down to a third, you keep the best tracks, and you have by far the best showcase for Joji's talents as a musician so far. But as is, it's somewhere between
It's time to stop!
And
Spiritual, lyrical, individual,
Sufjan kicked off his 2020s the same way he kicked off his 2010s, by releasing an hour-plus long, densely packed album of gorgeously arranged electronica that doesn't always click with me, but will probably grow on me over the years to come, and will likely be one of my favorite albums of the decade. If this was 2010 and I was still in high school trying to dunk on pop music with friends while secretly enjoying Emblem 3 or whatever, I'd probably like this, but it's 2020, I have back pain, and I don't know why I'd need music like this in my life. I am appalled at how competent this was. Absolutely disgusted.
Bells.
Let's take a look at the replay real quick. So you go into it here thinking it'll be another Humans because of the massive guest list, plus there isn't really much of a narrative through line this time. But just at this moment right here, they pull a fake out and surprise you with their best record since Plastic Beach. This is what we in the business call a big boy Gorillaz switch 'em up. Sorry, I didn't really go into this with that high of expectations because all I knew her from was that one song on TikTok that sampled her, but this is one of the best rock albums of the year, question mark? I try not to hold artists to their past work, and Sam can do whatever they want artistically. I'm not, they don't have to listen to me. But man, I just wish they would go back to making club bops like Latch. There are some songs on here that are close to that, but I am so tired of this adult contemporary sound they keep going for. Another year, another stellar mix of horrorcore bangers, an exceptional sound design by Clipping, another set of nightmares I'll have where Daveed Diggs chases me down a dark alleyway and then starts rapping at me about how immigrants get the job done. They'll get it next time. There's gonna come a day when Oneohtrix Point Never's work fully clicks with me and I preach his discography to anyone who will listen in my local TGI Fridays. Today is not that day, but I feel it getting closer with this record. And once the restraining order from said local TGI Fridays lifts. Another solid release by the gang, but I can't help but feel bummed at how old some of these songs are. 3 on E came out back in April. That cover of Something with Bernard Purdie came out, I think, 3 years ago. That rendition of Santa Baby came out, I think, 4 years ago. And that rendition of Poinciana is like half a decade old at this point. And they even got rid of the part where Theo goes, "Here's the problem with most tenor male vocalists."
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
It's the best reflection of Ty's skill as a musician and a networker. I mean, look at the track list on this thing. But when the best part of your record is the end of track 6, when it all of a sudden becomes an Anderson .Paak track, Ty, drop that funk album you've got, please. Yeah, I got nothing. The part in where Mike goes, "It's October and I'm tired," might be one of the strongest emotional gut punches I've heard in music this year. And while I don't think the rest of it hits that same peak, there is a certain weariness captured here that very few artists have been able to do. So well done, Mike. Man, if there's another record from this year that'll make you pine for the return of live music as much as this one does, please don't tell me. I'm already bummed enough as is. Kinda lukewarm on this one, not gonna lie. It's exactly what you'd expect out of a Matt Berninger solo record, but by the end, it just made me wish for a new Elvi record to come out soon. Also, did you know his last name is pronounced Berninger? I for this whole time, I thought it was Berninger. My God, I am so in Burness. The past few years have been turbulent as hell for Ariana, so I'm glad that she's now in a better place and writing music that reflects that. But call it a case of the changes. I don't think that this kind of relationship bliss makes for an engrossing album. I know some Ariana fans out there may vehemently disagree, but keep in mind, you killed me back in 2018 for not loving Sweetener. I'm already dead. You can't hurt me. If I ever have to hear Megan go body yaddy 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 one more time, I would gladly delete this channel and start a new one based entirely on competitive planting. But putting that aside, yeah, I enjoyed this. It certainly won't change anybody's preconceived notions about the band, but it's still probably their best batch of songs in about a decade. Plus, it'll be great for all those 80s hard rock parties I throw, like this one. I just want to feel something when I listen to your music, Sean. I don't care what feeling it is at this point. Anger, sadness, lackadaisicalness, itchiness. I don't know how you'd make me itchy with your music, but I would prefer it over nothing. Okay, no, seriously. How many musicians signed deals with the devil to release excellent pop albums in 2020? This isn't funny anymore. I feel like Miley Cyrus would get a lot more credit for being one of pop's most chameleonic stars if any of her albums had been good. But this new one of hers is probably the best one she's ever made, and I really hope that she stays in this rock lane for a little bit longer, just so that we don't get anything else like, what does it mean?
That That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
I don't think there was a record from this month that was this easy to enjoy. It's not perfect by any means, but I'd have to really think of something nitpicky to criticize about this one. The writing on the cover. Who writes G's like that, you know? I didn't dislike it, but there was a buoyancy to Bad Bunny's other record from this year that isn't here, and I just think I'm more likely to revisit that one in the future over this one. Is that it? November felt like a lighter month than usual. I know that there's some other stuff coming out this year, like the new Paul McCartney, the new Avalanches, but I'll cover that some other time. But before we close out the QRB for 2020, I want to tackle some records that I missed previously this year, along with some that were recommended to me via my Twitter and Instagram.
That's amore.
Yeah, wow. Wow. Wowee. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably would have enjoyed this more had I not just listened to that new Kylie Minogue record and all the other great pop albums from this year. As it stands, it's fine, but I don't think I'm going to revisit it anytime soon. My test for any Owen Pallett album is, would I prefer listening to it over listening to The Riverbed on repeat for 3 hours? The answer this time is unfortunately no. It's not bad, but I'm not gonna come back to it again. But I'm also interested to see what they do from here. I was at a festival last year where Left at London performed, though I had to miss her performance to catch a flight. This EP made me kick myself for missing her, though. I recommend it, especially if you liked that Rex Orange County record from last year. So I listened to this one earlier this year, and I was pretty lukewarm on it. I listened to it again because one of you recommended it to me, and my impression was way better. So by my calculations, I only have to listen to it a couple more times before it becomes my favorite album ever. Basic math. And to close out the QRB for 2020, we have one of the first records of the year, one that I enjoyed on first listen, but didn't really have much else to say beyond that. And now that it's been nearly a year since the record came out, it's time to sit down and try to express how I feel about it beyond just the fact that I liked it. You know what? Check back with me in about a year.